in the post office for like an hour or so, I decided to do a video about COVID is ending, and a little from a different perspective. I don't know whether it's ending or not, but I think the conclusion of mine is ending. So uh, when it all started, everybody was panicking. There was also channelings done about the virus and etc. and etc. And Rico was telling, "What are you talking about? What virus?" And the people were asking questions. Well, the virus. Everybody talking about the virus, and he said, "Well, a virus is something that can be found in anything, and does it actually represent anything? Only if you're searching for something." So you can find anything in anything if you're really searching for it. And that was a little bit confusing for me because I thought, everybody's getting sick and everybody's dying of the virus. But eventually, about a couple of months later, you only start to realize that something is completely wrong. The people, the doctors are saying that something is completely wrong about this one. Because I also remember when I was young, when there was like a flu or something running around, everybody was sick, including myself, my grandmother, my father, and everything. They were so sick that you cannot even get out of bed. But now at this point, I don't, if you see how many people are around here where I'm standing, and but people are just chilling and enjoying in the post office on the right side. Everybody's walking and doing something. Nobody's sick. So what are we talking about? Like, what's actually going on? And then we also did the channeling about some kind of doctor came, some kind of dead doctor came. I had the video in Latvian language, and he was talking about. He was telling us a virus, and yeah, is there people asking, is there a virus that's gonna kill us, and etc. 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 So why are we using the vaccine? Whether it will be good or bad? And ordinary everyday questions that everybody will ask. But I want to turn the story to a little different perspective: the self and the free will which you have. What everybody we have, like a soul, is like spirits. What we are here. So the question that the people the doctor gave us, the ordinary everyday questions like the vaccine, should I do it or should I not, and I want to avoid it, how can I avoid it, and everything. And he just looks at us. Well, who is giving you the vaccine? Who is going to give it to you? And they're like, I don't know. Then why do you ask this question? So why do you ask this question? And because I'm afraid. And he's like, well, you are talking about the vaccine, but do you actually know what the vaccine is and what a vaccine means and what a vaccine does? People are like, no. And they're starting asking different questions. And he's like, well, you don't understand anything. And you're asking us questions about, he said, you are so and disinformed. And the people were asking, but are we doing the right, uh, are the tests precise? And he responds, everything is precise. The only thing it means whether these tests do actually mean something. Of course, it's precise because it's done in the given way and it gives the results that it's supposed to give. But do these results actually mean anything? That is different. That is different. So, are you asking question whether precise? Of course, they are precise. But do they actually mean anything? That's different. So the next thing was he is at one point he stops and he said, okay, let me tell you what is a vaccine. Therefore, there are basically two types of vaccines. The one is the immune system vaccine, which basically learns your immune system to avoid anything like bacteria infections and everything. And he was telling bacteria infections. The second type is like a short-term vaccine that creates antibodies, whatever that means. I don't know what the antibody means. He says those basically are given to people that are working in a really intense environment where they need antibodies. But I understood this, that antibodies are universal. Like what he said, that antibodies also eat down the human cells themselves. So basically, what it means that the immune system becomes very, very aggressive, thus destroying itself also. So, and he said it's a short term, what I understood, 3 to 4 or 1 to 4 weeks this anti-vaccine works. Sorry guys. So that's a different story. Dream on, dream on. You wanna hear something? No, I'll not do it. So the next story. After that channeling, I came out from the channeling information. I've heard so many things that I have never known before, and yet to me they seem really strange and maybe difficult, because they said that there is no vaccine or cure to viruses. And he said, do you actually even know what a virus is? They're like, no, virus is basically a dead cell part which is so small that is actually not even visible on any scope. The virus exists everywhere in all cells in human body because those are long dead cell parts or something, right? Which basically the organism system, because it's so small, it's 1,000 times smaller than the bacteria. It's so small that it's not even barely visible. Yet it's never sure that the symptoms you are having are caused by a certain virus. Yet a certain virus cannot actually be visible, seen, or known. It can be, and yet you don't know actually the methods how to detect whether you're having this virus or not having this virus. Basically, it's something working in the invisible field with like modules of prediction. Let's call it, like, let's say, of guessing. So he also said something about how can a virus can be found. I mean, like, discovered. Those methods are also unknown. He said like a virus discovery starts something from a method how you can actually filter a certain virus or a certain virus particle, small particle. Then a method of understanding whether those symptoms that the people are having, creating a guess whether those symptoms that you or everybody else is having is caused by this small particle. Those particles are millions and trillions in the human body. Yet another thing is, because that virus can be so inactive or not giving any attention to, body has no reaction to, it's never known that it causes this. Therefore you have this result, but those symptoms you are having is not caused by the virus that you are having. So basically he was telling that virus is a really smart thing, a really huge science. When I came out of that channel, I was like, wow, that's a really huge science. It's a really interesting game, actually. I would love to learn and study more about it. That was my interest. And then he continued. About the virus, so small. Yeah, that the organism or the human immune system doesn't actually fight virus. It cannot do anything to a virus. All it can do is learn to live with it. The body changes itself, its own perspectives, not like own perspectives, like its own activities, to adjust to the virus. And he said also that in some cases human changes themselves, like you change your eating habit, you change your living habits and everything, and therefore you become more immune and less immune to certain viruses that you already have. So basically the conclusion is, you have all the possible viruses already. You already have them. From your mother, from your mother's mother, from your mother. You already have them. They can be found in you. Are they causing you these symptoms? Who knows? It's just a guess that it's causing you these symptoms. So that's the interesting part. So he constantly said, human, you are misled, misunderstood, and disinformed. You don't know anything about viruses and nothing. All you know is about this blah 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 what's going around. You don't know, that's what he constantly told us. And what are you worrying about? Now that's the part of this video right now, which is our free will. Now basically, when you look around, I will show you, you see people with masks. I will zoom in. This lady right here. Lady, sorry that I'm filming you. Uh, it's just for the sake of, on the left side, there's a lady with a mask. And basically they're full of people right on the left side, just one person I'm filming. So then you ask yourself, why are you wearing a mask? Just give yourself, I see the questions, but I will read them a little bit later. Why are you wearing a mask? You just came out of your house, your apartment, and you decide, oops, today's the day I will wear a mask. Why are you wearing it? Well, because the statistics are really inflated and the virus is spreading really badly. Okay, maybe there is a virus, and maybe there is inflated, real or unreal statistics. Who knows how these statistics are made, right? So who knows? Who knows, right? Of course, 1,000 people die, but who knows if they died from the virus? It's never proven. It will never be proven. Yeah. So, and eventually, also, we had here information that there's statistics how many people die every month, in years and years and years and years, and that number is the same. And like in Latvia, they had 2,200 people a week or a month that died, like death statistics. So you can get them from some kind of governmental website. So you don't see any virus activities there. You don't see any unusual there. It's like a straight line: 2,200, 2,400, 2,200. It's that complete average. It's like if you look at those dates, you will not even notice that there's some kind of pandemic or epidemic going on there. But anyway, you came out of the room and you decided, I want to wear a mask because there's a virus going on. And then you sit down. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Then you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying, like you're asking what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say anything. I want to lead this information to a certain point. Self-understanding. So just listen to the idea, just my thoughts about everything. So you lead it to a certain point. You wear a mask because there's a virus going on, right? And it's not anything bad about that you do and you decide to do it. But the question is, why do you do it? Because the statistics, the virus is going on and spreading and everything. But when you look around, do you notice any virus in your friends, friends? Yesterday I met one guy and asked him, do you know somebody who actually has died from the virus? He says no, but I have one friend who died. He had the positive test, although he died from heart attack, and his heart was sick and he died on the surgery table. So then you start thinking, how can he die from COVID if he had a ill heart, right? But that's not the point. So the point is that you talk with people. I talk with several people a day, many people a day, and also many people are writing me, and you're just by curiosity asking questions like, how are you doing? How do you think about the virus? How do you think about life? Do you meditate, and etc.? Do you channel or something? You talk about that, and then you meet certain area people, which are like the ordinary people. All they know is what they hear from the TV. So the TV is like a hypnosis, like a propaganda, and this is what I remember from what I want to talk about is from the first channelings which I had like several years ago, like 5 or 8 years ago. A being came and told, throughout all the universe and dimensions, throughout all the creation, there is this free will law, which means nothing will happen and can happen which is against your will. Like there is this free will law. At some point I realized that, right? But when we talk about, and I was asking, well, what about the earth? Because I haven't noticed that there are things that are let's say, I have noticed several things which, like, let's say, ignore the free will of all, like push you to do this. And he said, well, you cannot even answer your phone. You have a choice: answer or decline the phone, right? The phone, if somebody calls you. And he said, on earth, where are you living in, this free will law is used in a very specific type of a way. So let's talk about this right now. So let's look around. Let's sometimes it look neutral, the things in life, and you really should do that. Remember your free will. Remember your beingness. Remember your awareness that you are fully in control of your life. You're fully aware of the decisions you make. You're fully aware of the choices you make. You're completely fully aware of that. You have a choice. And when you have a choice, you look at things completely neutral. What do you see? What do you see around yourself? Do you see a virus? I don't see any virus. Do you see sick people? I don't see any sick. I don't even see. I have never even heard about sick people. All right. Of course, there are sick people every day, but nowadays I think the only illness that there's this COVID. There are coughs, heart attacks. I don't know. Other illnesses are gone. Like even car crashes are gone. There's everything. It's just a virus. So you start noticing something that you don't see it around you. You have never witnessed it. Everybody's talking about it, even myself right now. And then you start thinking, well, let's get a little bit back. Why should I even talk about this? About something that isn't visible or I haven't even noticed? Why should I even talk about it? Why should I think about it? And that's the biggest thing about propaganda, or the biggest thing about brainwashing. And there was also this one information about brainwashing in one of the channeling informations. The being said that brainwashing is basically giving you, it works by giving you thousands of informations and opposing information, like the opposite information. Like something tells is good, something tells is bad. So good, bad, good, bad. It's like give you thousands of informations opposing that compete with each other, and therefore the ordinary person is confused always. And then you tell him one thing, he instantly picks it up. And there was this information about the neuron nerve system, how it works. When you start believing something like, when I plant my potatoes, at the winter, at the spring, at the autumn, I will have a field of potatoes to eat. It takes around 3 to 2 months to grow them, and you need to store them. And after 3 or 4 years, it becomes your everyday life. You believe it's true, you have it, you know it's true. Maybe there are some things you need to be aware of, like don't overwater them. You need to shuffle the ground and everything else. You study them, and then you realize you know it to be true. But imagine yourself in the opposite, in a brainwashing campaign. Let's say brainwashing media, news media, Facebook media, readable media, YouTube media, and let's say the ordinary television media. It could be like one of your grandmother. The BBC, for example, is your grandmother, and CNN is your father, and all your family members are there. You start shoveling, and you say, "I want to plant potatoes," right? And the other says, "No, you should not plant potatoes because potatoes are bad." And you start doubting yourself whether good or bad. The next news media comes in, "Yes, potatoes are good. You really need to do that." And you get confused. He said it's bad and it's good. What should I do? I'm confused. And the next, and you're constantly confused and not even planting those potatoes. And it gets a little bit challenging again when they start making laws and rules and everything. You're always confused, and a bus comes in, military guys or policemen, and show you a paper. Potatoes are not allowed to be planted here. We will confiscate your potatoes by the law. And you're like, okay, there's some kind of law, and you're confused. You just give them because you're confused. So basically, you don't have these stable understanding or beliefs anymore. You're constantly confused, and then the next thing you start believing it. You start believing it, and what the media does is just constantly putting you, and you start talking, and you start believing. You start giving up your free will. You start giving up your free choice. So there in Latvia there is this nobody goes vaccinating, or really less people. Everybody start canceling their things to go vaccinated, right? But let's look at from the jurist, like law of attorneys, and let's call it from law perspective. Nobody will give you any guarantee that it works. Nobody will give you any medical care if you have side effects. And when you do that, you need to sign a paper that all it happened from your free will, like you participally chosen to take the vaccine, right? The COVID-19 vaccine, whatever. So I never done it, and I will not do it. So I just don't see the reason to do it. I'm sitting right here and saying, what are you talking about? The brainwashing is so strong that people just are asleep under hypnosis, and they just do what the people tell you to do, by the free will law, taking care and thinking about and respecting the free will law. So it turns out that there's this ANO, so kind of human rights organizations around the world. In Latvia they call it Satversme, which truly respects from all regards that it's above the governmental structures. The free will law is written there, and I just like a year ago I started reading about this, and I was like so confused that the human rights and free will law is already written down in the ANO, or in Latvia called Satversme. I'm not sure how it's called in English, but it's above government. So basically, if government charges you penalties on something, or gives you a penalty, something you can go to the court with the protection of human rights, and therefore the government will just let you go because if your human rights are unrespected. So anyway, I have only 20 people in my line right now, so I will finish this video fast right now. So anyway, when you start thinking about, when you start seeing people, and you start questioning why, Constitution may be right, so why did you actually go to take vaccine? So there was this advertisement, because nobody in Latvia is going to do the vaccines. Constitution, right? I don't know, but if you say it like this, so people are not going to take this vaccine and everything. They started making advertisements, and the advertisements are like this, like actors, famous actors, like TV stars in Latvia. They're like, yeah, I really want to have the life which I had before. I am so waiting for the life I had before. I cannot wait that we can start having the same life. The next thing, I really miss going to restaurants, the cinemas, and TV, and amusement parks. The next, and it's your choice right now. And please make that choice, because I have made the same choice myself to do it, to take the vaccine. So when you take it down to words, like the advertisement is like 20 or 10 minutes long, when you take it down to words, what are you talking about? You can always go outside. You can always go right now. You can go everywhere where you wish. Of course, there are some limitations, but you go everywhere. What are you talking about? They're not talking about. Take the COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine. They're not talking about this. They're not telling us. They're not telling you to do it. They're using the smart words and smart language, so you make a decision subconsciously to do it. Nobody tells you to take COVID-19 vaccine. Nobody even permits you to take it and tells you to take it. Nobody's putting you inside it. Nobody's doing it. But the brainwashing itself works subconsciously. So by the law of protection, the advertisement didn't tell nobody to take any vaccine. A vaccine about what? COVID-19? No, we didn't tell you to do COVID vaccine. Just it was an advertisement. Nobody told you anything. You decided yourself to go. And by any means, you've written the agreement that you have done it from your free will, and we don't ever actually protect you if something goes bad. So basically, you subconsciously, by your weak awareness state, you have forgotten your free will law, have signed to do it by yourself. Everything is clean, right? Everything is completely clean with that. So when you talk about these things, when you start listening to these things in neutral, you start to realize that it's just a fog of brainwashing around you, and weak people who are not self-aware, are not aware of decisions, follow the hypnosis that's created like a bubble around us, like a bubble throughout everything around us, about all topics, about things. And it's no matter if somebody's telling you a lie, it's how many times it tells you until your neurons make a connection and start believing it. So in my opinion, the absolute best thing while the virus thing is ending, the absolute best thing, you can actually see how strong is the human hypnosis, how actually strong asleep are so many people. They are just living out their lives throughout this hypnosis, and how many unaware people are there. You just see them like walking zombies around, like biomass or something. Of course, they live out their life and they live out there for a reason, but basically, it's just, to my opinion, to my own conclusion, I'm really amazed to actually see how many weak people we have around, how many, of course, are strong also, the same 50-50, but basically, how strong is this affecting us? And then I had this question: are there things right now that we should actually believe in, like from the same sources, same hypnosis, which are lies even more? I mean, like, you believe that earning money is the only thing we need to do. You don't believe that, and I, in my case, start questioning those things even more after these experiences. Basically, many people also even more. If this is a complete fog that's created to, let's say, brainwashing hypnosis, like a thing, if it's created, then how many more hypnosis, deep hypnosis, and how many more people are actually sleeping? And again, how strong it actually works. So overall, it gives me a lots of inspirations. Not like inspirations, like point views. It's like the whole world is completely different than we used to know it. The whole world is completely different as we used to know it. Especially when I started talking about the formula of duality, how the duality balance the life itself. When I know it right now from the beings which I channeled know it right now, is I realize that there is completely different things in the universe, or for example, the ordinary life which we are having right now. Things were completely different. The whole opposite, anything different from the things we have known before. So yeah, in my opinion, this was a great time, a great experience. In my opinion, you yourself can see how actually strong the hypnosis works, and you yourself can see how strong yourself is, how aware from the free will, of the free will law, of the free will you actually are. Because if you ask yourself, do you want it? No. Nobody's pushing you to do it. It's just a huge brainwashing that's going around, that's putting you this information. And then you start making the decisions yourself to do it, actually. So yeah. Yeah. So that's it. I think I still can read a couple of questions. Yeah, that's the point. Many politics and some groups of interest seem to set the same form and theme of reality, get people into fear and making it easier to move in desired directions. Yeah, so the thing is, when people are moved into fear, they don't make their own decisions. They make decisions based from the fear, and then they use their free will to actually accept those decisions and do them. If you don't have fear, you're fully aware of the self, fully aware of yourself, you're fully aware of all decisions you can make that resonate with you, unlike resonate from panic and fear and anything else. So basically, remember yourself, and don't be afraid and don't be feared about anything. Remember the self. Remember about yourself. Yeah, there's somebody telling about the great event published in 2021 or 2001 or whatever. When the virus starting, there was lots of information flooded, and it was like a year ago or something. And there was all by points. Everything was written down by points. What I understood is that the politicians that is giving a list. You need to do these things. Figure out themselves how you will do it, how you imagine do it. So on June restrict bookstores. On February restrict. There's a list, right? On December start vaccinating. On 20th December all hospitals are full, etc., etc. Basically, there's a list given to it till the 2022. I guess there was a list. And everything, when I saw this list, I started to laugh. Everything is going exactly point by point that was written like a year ago, and I was like laughing to myself. Politicians are coming to make a decisions, but you already know the list of the things that must be done. You have seen it, you have read it, and then on June, on June now there will be limitations in these things, and then the politicians, and June is already here. He start talking about, yeah, the virus is spreading so bad, we need to make limitations in certain groups of products that are for sale and shops, and just laugh, like a cinema, like a TV show, like a theater. Okay, hi all. Indeed, stress and worry, especially constant different types of stress in all levels, influence physical body that is more demanding and blah blah blah. When aliens, I haven't channeled about aliens a long time, so I'm not aware of that. As I remember, 2025, 2023 or 2025. But anyway, okay, everybody, time's up. I must go. See you soon on other videos. Bye.